This is it. Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan. I do hope you are all doing well today. I really do hope that. Namaste. The big one, the Champions League. Chelsea underdogs against the champions of England, Pep Guardiola's Manchester City. Can we do it again like nearly a decade ago as underdogs? Can Thomas Tuchel get another one over Pep Guardiola? The only manager and team to beat Pep twice this season is Thomas Tuchel's Chelsea. Yes, there's context behind both those games, but still, I'm going to crack into all of it today and tell you who I think will start the game. A big thank you to OneFootball for sponsoring this video today. OneFootball is the best football companion app you can get on your phone. It's the perfect time to check out OneFootball to keep fully updated with everything Champions League final, lineups, match statistics, any news regarding the game. Of course, all your transfer news on OneFootball. And of course, this summer, Euro 2020, a massive international tournament. You need OneFootball to keep fully up to date with everything that's going on in the Euros. So do click the link down in the description. It's totally free. They've supported me, so go support them. Alright then, let's get into today's match preview. I'm thinking of bringing back the moustache over a light beard. Let me know what you think down in the comments section below. Right then, I'm trying to remain calm, but this is a massive game, of course. Oddly, I'm a little bit more calm for this game than I was for the FA Cup final. Now, obviously this is a much bigger game than the FA Cup final, but I go into it with a sort of more chilled, agnostic vibe because we were favourites to win the FA Cup, and that's what piles pressure on. We're not favourites. We're like Manchester City, let's have it right, are coming into this game red hot, scintillatingly red hot favourites for this game. We're not favourites. We've lost 3 of our last 4 games. They've slapped Everton around 5-0 the last game of the season. They've had sort of more rest and less games recently. So the sort of pressure and onus is on Manchester City and Pep Guardiola, because he's, like he was at Bayern Munich, he's been brought in to win a Champions League. And this is, I'm not saying that as some sort of weird passive dig because he hasn't. I think Pep Guardiola is the best manager in the world. That's just my opinion, and a lot of people think that he's not. I think he is, personally. The way he's reinvented City this season as well is just testament to that. I still, of course, think they can lose a Champions League final, and I think Pep Guardiola has his managerial flaws, even if I do think he's the best working coach at the moment. He sometimes overthinks games and goes a bit weird, and most City fans would probably admit to that too. I'm really not expecting us to win. They've never won a Champions League. We have won a Champions League. So, it's not like this is our first final in like 30 years. It will be our 3rd final in, a time that I can remember, relatively recent history. So, it would be nice to win it, but I kind of understand at the same time. Pep Guardiola is coming into like 6 years in his Manchester City project with, superb investment, a really good setup around him to accommodate his managerial needs. Thomas Tuchel's 6 months into the Chelsea job, which is a chaotic job in its nature. None of his own signings yet. Do you know what I mean? So if you look at all of that, you're like, okay, cool. The kind of feel like the pressure's off. I'm going to be watching the game with my family, I think. I had a couple of opportunities to go out to Porto. Sadly, I can't go at the moment, so I'm not going to go and get, super pissed or anything. I just want to watch it with my family, enjoy it, and hopefully we put a performance in and we turn up. I'm going to show you my predicted lineup, and I'm going to talk about a match prediction and stuff in just a moment. I do want to take a second now, though, to thank every single one of you who's gone to check out Football Yannick, my new YouTube channel, and all you guys seemingly really enjoying the content. When I'm talking all things football on there. I'm talking about, Man United's loss in Europa League, all these big results and big stories in football I've always wanted to talk about, but I wanted to do it away from Football Therapy, and now I have an opportunity to do it, bring in, different fans from different clubs, and you Chelsea fans, which most of you are enjoying watching me talk about other stories and subjects. So there'll be a link to Football Yannick down in the description underneath the OneFootball link. Go have a look at my second channel, and thank you to everyone who's been enjoying the content and giving me nice messages. Alright then, I've made a predicted lineup for the Champions League final. Now, it's very difficult when you make a predicted lineup to say what you'd want against what you think's going to happen, and then you kind of meet somewhere in between and think this is what I sort of half want and half imagine is going to happen. So anyway, let's just switch over screens now and show you what I've come up with. It's going to be a 3-4-1-2 in my opinion, I probably think, but of course that front three is interchangeable. Edouard Mendy in goal, although I've recently heard on the Straight Out of Common podcast that he's actually got a terrible penalty record, and of course Kepa Arrizabalaga has saved a few for Chelsea in a couple of shootouts, including the Europa League semi-final which I was at. He made 2 excellent saves there, so maybe towards, if we get to penalties, who knows, Kepa might come in, that would be a massive story. But for the general game, it has to be Edouard Mendy, of course, between the sticks. Now, I've gone for the sort of senior settled back three, with Thiago Silva in the middle and Antonio Rudiger on the left and Azpilicueta on the right. I think out of everyone who puts different back threes in, the given is, of course, Antonio Rudiger at left centre-back. A lot of people have actually chosen Andreas Christensen to play in the middle, because he's sort of a little bit more pacey. I don't want to say intelligent, there's no more intelligent centre-half than Thiago Silva, but in terms, he had really good chemistry, and when he came in for Thiago Silva, he was excellent. He's an intelligent, pokey footballer, and a lot of people actually put him in, not that to denigrate Thiago Silva, he's been brought in for these big games. I'm just personally sort of shocked and intrigued to hear how a lot of people would prefer him in this game. I would probably prefer Thiago Silva down the middle, which I've put in my starting lineup here. I also really in my mind for this lineup heavily debated putting Christensen as the right centre-back, which he's played at really well. Obviously Azpilicueta, leader, captain, would do everything for this game, so you've got to put him in. But in terms of chemistry in certain performances and combinations, I wonder if he's done better there. And of course, Azpilicueta hasn't been great recently. Maybe it's because he's been a wing back, obviously losing his head a little bit with the Grealish light slap. I don't know, but ultimately I settled on the senior back three to really get their game face on: Rudiger, Thiago Silva and Cesar Azpilicueta. Left wing back, of course, picks himself. That is Ben Chilwell, who's been probably one of our better players of late since coming off the bench in the FA Cup final, and probably being maybe our best player in that final after coming on. Should have started that game. He will absolutely start in the left wing back position for this game against Manchester City in the Champions League final. Right, no more of this Cesar Azpilicueta right wing back business for me. Remember when I think Reece James played right wing back against both City sides that we beat them at the Etihad? Or in the Premier League and the semi-final of the FA Cup. And Reece James, of course, roasted Benjamin Mendy. I don't think Benjamin Mendy will start. It will be Cancelo, or it will be, Zinchenko. But regardless, in terms of how City play, for me, it makes a lot more sense to play Reece James in the right wing-back position. Right, Kante is fit, supposedly. Hopefully, he has to start. I think the reason why they didn't start him against Villa is to keep him wrapped up for this game. So, he is imperative. If Chelsea are to win the Champions League final, it's going to be imperative Kante plays to his best. Therefore, he has to start. Half-fit Kante started the Europa League final. I'm not interested in playing injured players and making their injuries worse, but I think he's good to go, and it's imperative he starts this game. Now, his partner is a difficult one. I've gone with Jorginho, although recently Jorginho has been playing quite poorly. I'm not one of these people that have been digging him out and slating him. I don't necessarily feel like he's my most preferred and favoured Chelsea player anymore. Not to say I devalue his qualities. I understand his qualities. Just as how I watch the team evolves, I'm not, hopefully he can put in excellent performances, Jorginho, and that's what I'm banking for in the Champions League final. He can be dispossessed, and sometimes he does worry me. As a player, in terms of their natural ability and playstyle, I probably prefer Mateo Kovacic. I think he's actually quite classy. But similarly, like Jorginho, he hasn't been playing that well recently. In fact, he's been really wobbly since he came off the bench, but granted he's come back from an injury, but he kept turning over possession to the opposition. I'd feel really bad for him if he doesn't feature in this game, because he's won 3 Champions League finals without getting on the pitch, and to come to Chelsea to change those fortunes and yet play a lot for Chelsea, play loads, and that to happen again would be pretty heartbreaking for him. I don't think he starts, but maybe he comes on and features, and certainly he'd feel a better part of this squad if Chelsea were to go on and find glory in this competition. A player that picks himself, of course, is Mason Mount. Hopefully he's a little bit more rested and looks a little bit more active than he did last time out, because he's starting to look gassed. Chelsea's player of the season. So, you know, him and Kante, if they both have good games, Chelsea have a chance of winning. So, he, you know, don't really have to say much more about Mason Mount. Tuchel will absolutely start him. And similarly, you start Timo Werner, because, you know, the silly moments are painful, of course, but he's industrious. And I think under Tuchel, you see how he performed with and without him on the pitch. He's actually a really important player for Chelsea, running that left-hand channel. So Timo Werner absolutely starts for me. And a lot of people are differing on the final third front man. A lot of people are saying Pulisic. But Pulisic's, although he was our form player for a while under Tuchel, came back in and looked really good, he's actually been a little bit concerning of late, and he's actually looked better coming in as an impact sub rather than starting. I get the concept, the sort of tactical theory of Mason Mount and the two pacey runners, and Werner and Pulisic. I get that. And maybe it could work against City, but I've gone with Kai Havertz because he has had sort of promising cameos and he offers something a little bit different. And of course, Pulisic can easily feature off the bench. If we're chasing it, we can make up to 5 subs, 6 into extra time, which is mental. And so a lot of people are choosing Pulisic over, say, a Kai Havertz, like I have in the lineup. But also a lot of people are saying Hakim Ziyech, because although he's been disappointing in some games, he's been really impressive in some big games. I believe both games against Manchester City, he was integral to the win, I think. Certainly he scored in one, set up another, I think. And there's this idea that maybe he goes missing in the smaller games, but he'll rise to the occasion on the European stage. And I'm all for that, man. If Hakim Ziyech starts, I'll have certain concerns, but I'll be 100% backing him to pull out as good performances. So for that final spot, it is between Pulisic, Ziyech and Havertz, of course. I've gone for Havertz just to offer a different dynamic, but I would not be at all surprised if Ziyech starts, especially based on his previous performances against Manchester City when we've won. Right, that's my lineup. Let's switch over screens and talk about the game a little bit more. It's ruddy massive, guys. I'm trying to zen out. You know, I'm nervous. The City fans are nervous. It's epic. I mean, the Champions League final, I feel like it's always better when it's not two English teams. At the same time, you're proud that the English league, you know, the Premier League's the strongest league, and, you know, we're showing Europe that we're the best. But it would have been, you know, more exotic playing a European side. You know, Man City can win their first European Cup. In terms of, like, yes, they've invested heavily, but in terms of the manager, the players, how hard they work, they probably deserve it by now. But, you know, Chelsea have been working really, really hard as well, and they'll believe they have the pedigree to win this competition, though we've got a lot of young players that haven't even won a trophy yet. Imagine if your first trophy is the Champions League final. Mad, isn't it? I'm going to do a score prediction. And just because I've got to have the blinkers on, I'm going to say it's going to be 1-1 at full time, relatively cagey, a goal apiece. And I think Chelsea, using the attacking players off the bench, these are probably the two best squads in the Premier League. So I'm not saying City don't have the players to do it as well. But I think Chelsea, maybe with the extra subs and extra time, win it 2-1 in extra time. Oh, what an absolute incredible scenes if it happens. Anyway. It's exciting. Let me know your thoughts, feelings and opinions down in the comment section below. Do subscribe if you're new and you want to. Drop a like to show some love and support. Please do go check out Football Yannick if you want more content. And yeah, that's it. Enjoy the football and I'll see you after the game. Peace.
You ain't so tough with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought. Body bag the verse, outlined in chalk. In my life, seen trouble, hustle on the double. Silence on the trigger like my pick got a muzzle. Yo, chick like to guzzle, bad boy stay in trouble. I only love this paper, sorry I don't. I laugh me, baby.